The following broadcast may contain explicit language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the hosts, talent, and guests, and do not reflect the opinions, views, and standards of Pyromedia Enterprises, affiliates, subsidiaries, or its members.
Yes, God. That's my song. I'm sorry. That is one of my favorite songs that I've written to perform. The other one is Joy, but it's a gospel song slash love song, because the last time I sang it, our show was talking to my boo. But how you doing tonight, Manal?
You know what? I am like at this other state of calm right now. This state of calm I haven't been in a long time. It's the calm before the storm. I got a lot on my plate. I got to make some moves, and I had the opportunity to just sit still when I got off of work today. Thanks to my boo, I was able to sit still today. So I'm coming into this evening like super chill and focused and reset, like Eye of the Tiger. I'm about to slay something. I just don't know what yet.
I know that's right. I'm definitely here to slay a bitch. Hallelujah.
Yeah. How are you?
I am doing great. Things are just coming together. I love when a vision comes together, and I feel like I have supported so many people in bringing their vision together, to fruition. And I just feel like this is my time to bring the vision and purpose that I have for my life to pass. I definitely feel like I've paid the price to do so. And so I'm just positioning things and I'm moving forward. In all the things of the things. Yes, I'm in a good place. I'm definitely in a good place.
That's good.
One thing I learned from singing that has helped me in life is when you're singing, to make sure you have a better chance of completing the run and hitting all the points in the run if you think the run through first, right? So some people just go off the fly, off the handle, and then they wonder why they get mid-run and don't know where to go. That's because you didn't think it through. You didn't think the chording through. You didn't think the progression through. You didn't think about what the background was going to, be saying. So this is why you got lost mid-run. But when you think it all the way through, you're able to execute it. And I feel like I have envisioned. It was hard for a point because, I shared with you all, I lost vision for a while. But I feel like I have regained my sight, and baby, I see myself walking off the job. I see myself making, when I see myself self-made, I definitely see that happening. And so I'm excited. I got my drink together, so I'm going to take a sip right there. Libations.
No, that's wonderful. So I'm not a runner though, Walter. You know this.
Okay.
Now whatever the album does, that's what I'm gonna do because I'm that.
Right.
But I think it's really amazing when you are able to visualize and construct your own future, and you realize that you can. Like we was having this conversation with my girl's 12-year-old, and we were just talking about why they don't teach finance in school. And we were just talking about the difference between an employee and an employer. And so I was just asking him, like, what do you need to do for yourself so that way you are not just an employee? What can you do at 12? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, let's talk about it now, you know, and just understanding that if you allow your mind to expand beyond
Mm-hmm.
what someone else tells you is possible, and you can create your own world, you can create your own reality, you can create your own success.
Absolutely.
It is such a powerful thing. And being a mom, being a teacher, being a person who works with youth, like my whole purpose in life is awakening the kids before they become adults and teaching
Great.
them the thing, like make your own runs because you can.
I think that is such a powerful thing, and this is off topic. We're gonna get on topic here soon, but Manal, what you're saying is so important. I realized when I was about 24. Now, what I'm about to say is I'm telling on myself, but I realized when I was about 24 that I did not have the skills that my white counterparts had. Okay. And at that time, when I did the research, I don't know how things are now because I haven't looked into it. But at that time, the average Black man my age had the financial knowledge of a 12-year-old white boy. Okay. Now, we're not talking about the discipline to put $5 away for saving. We're talking about what to do with the 100 you have,
Yeah.
so that your money is working for you and you don't have to work until you're 90 to supply a living for yourself. And
Yep.
so one of the things that I have been trying to do, and this was also why I became a person to support a vision, because I realized we are better together. Cooperative economics, right?
Absolutely.
We are stronger together. We have to circulate the dollar and we create the synergy and then we create the success. I did a research on at that time, the richest Black man in the world was a billionaire in Africa. Okay. And he had about $10 billion, right? But I think 6 out of the top 10 richest people in the world were around him because he had taken them all to the top with him, right?
Yeah.
No competition. No, there was no scandals of, cutthroat or anything. Everybody just got that success together. And I always wanted to link up with people that had that like mind, and let's just rise together. You do what you do great. I'm going to do what I do great. We're going to find some way to allow them to coexist in a space, and we're going to make some money. I love it.
Yeah. No, and that's a beautiful thing. And it's absolutely, I feel like it is on topic
Mm-hmm.
because, one of the things that I'm going to constantly talk about is the importance of having your mind, even after applying for success. Because if you don't even know how to manage your success, you're going to lose it. You're going to misuse it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we're constantly seeing people's fall from grace. And I use that term very, very loosely, but we're constantly seeing people's fall from grace because they haven't worked on their minds as they've grown. And so when you're climbing, and what we're doing right now is we're getting our minds together because we know what to never get what we see. And we also know what it is to get and lose what we have. And so even what we do here is to regain our minds.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. Tonight, along with that, we're talking about letting go. Don't be shady. Just be done. Just be done. And you're right. This is so perfect. Girl, you tied that in good.
Girl, I'm
tied,
here.
you tied that in real good. Sometimes when things are over in your life, you just don't know how to let it go, right? Always trying to recapture the magic. And then when you realize it's gone, you hate the person that you feel stole that moment from you. Instead of moving, this is life. As long as you have breath and the activity of your limbs and your mind is functioning, you have the ability to create some form of happiness. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you got to get to the place and space where you can let some bullshit go. You got to be able to let it go. Otherwise, it's going to hold you hostage. But now, has anything ever held you hostage? Like,
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. There are things that literally, and I didn't realize that really that hostage space that I was in was really just grief, right? And so I was held in that space, whether it was what happened between, me and my son's father at years ago, or it was, my parents not being what I thought that they were supposed to be, or, this breakdown with my siblings, or, maybe an ex, decided to keep on pushing on, or I decided to even end a relationship because I thought it wasn't the healthiest thing. But even something like I had this plan, and everything that I set out to do, I wasn't able to do for one reason or another. So my plans fell through. But I was stuck in each of those moments, trying to either recapture them, recreate them, or I thought I couldn't move forward, right? And it was all because I was grieving. And I was grieving this idea that I made up in my mind about that person, that event, or what I should or should not have been doing, or who I should or should not have been.
Right.
And once I got to the point of just releasing all of that, St. Louis will help you do that, because they say bring the real, you know what I'm saying? Help you let it go.
Let it go.
So once I got to the point where I started being able to just let it go and tell myself the real truth, the hard truth, I allow myself to just let my heart break. What my auntie Iyanla always says, let your heart break. Hey,
hey, Coco.
And you and I let my heart break. And so like now it's like those things don't even matter.
Right.
I understand that I needed all of that to be me.
You mentioned something while you were talking just now that slapped me in the face. I didn't realize I did this, but in each hard transition in my life, I was scared of what life was going to be without this thing. And I felt like this person was stealing the idea, the dream that I concocted in my mind. I didn't realize that Spirit, Holy Spirit, God, whomever, was giving me, no, that's not the vision for you, baby. Your vision is going to be over here. I didn't realize that my steps being ordered already meant that I was not in control. It meant that you sit your ass in the passenger seat. I'm going to fucking drive. Woo! Yeah. Baby. So what you're saying definitely hit home. I remember when my first church split, I thought I was going to fail because I had never seen a pastor survive a church splitting the way mine split. It split down the middle. Most of my competent leaders left. So I was training a whole new, realm of things. And instead of seeing opportunity, I saw a opposition, right? And I had to change my mindset. Once I changed my mindset, girl, we got on fire and we started doing some things. And I've got to say, the second church trumps if I ever went back, I want the second church. Fuck the first church. I want the second one.
No, you don't want the second one. You want the third. Because
yes, no, that part. I definitely want the third. And then I remember when my divorce was imminent. Like, this was happening. She was leaving me. I remember I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I had been married since I was 22. I had been married as an adult longer than anything.
Single.
That's all I knew. All I knew was when somebody flirted, I could rest on the fact, no,
I'm married.
Right.
Keep it pushing.
Right. All I knew was, I had somebody to come home to and eventually talk to. We might have been mad at each other for a moment, but eventually talk to. I didn't know what life was outside of that, but I had to embrace it. And then I had to realize my ex-wife was not stealing anything from me by leaving me. She was giving me the opportunity to spread my fabulous wings.
Yeah. And it's so amazing too. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you recognize how spirit works, and spirit has a flow,
Mm,
right? And so there's no resting place for
mm-hmm.
spirit. And so when you're living in a spiritual way,
Mm-hmm.
you are opening yourself up to lessons. You're opening yourself up to experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You're opening yourself up to change and evolution and understanding that it is constant, right? And
Right,
so
right.
stop holding on so much to these people and these things and this
Mm-hmm.
mission and
Yeah.
and this idea, and you just start living and experiencing and just
Mm-hmm.
being. And so it gets a whole, like, man, when I tell you I live so much differently, when I even think about my job changes that I've had since I became since I got into an adulthood, I've only had maybe 6 jobs since I was an adult. Because old school, right? You get into a job,
Mm-hmm.
stay there, you retire there, right? And
Right,
so,
right.
so I thought that I was broken because I kept changing jobs for a
Right.
minute. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I missed the memo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that I had to keep moving. And so I thought that I needed to get into a job and I needed to give my all in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to minister and sew and do all these things and bring all of my greatness into this job. And they said, your greatness is just too bright, ma'am. And then, like, I kept getting that message, right?
Yes,
And,
yes.
and so I had to learn.
Dumb it down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to learn to, one, this ain't my ministry. Two, this is not my vision. This is something that's
Mm-hmm.
going to help me create who I need to be in order to accomplish my vision. But then the next thing from that is now I can show up and just give in that moment and
Mm.
not feel like I have to carry a company on my back, or I have to
Right,
carry all of my coworkers on my shoulders, or I don't have to
right.
fix it all. I can just be in this moment. And it's so much more ease because I
Mm-hmm.
recognize now that this is just a moment. It is
Right.
not it is not my life.
Right. And what that has learning that what it freed me to do is just live.
Yeah.
Live. And then I can compartmentalize. Like you said, when I go to work, that's not my vision. That's not my passion. That's my paycheck. Now my paycheck will fund my vision and my passion. Moving to what we're talking, this coincides so good because Brian McKnight had a relationship with his first children's mother's mother. I don't know the whole situation, but eventually the relationship came to an end. Like it's ended. They've been divorced. His children are grown, right? From his
Mhm.
previous relationship, they're grown. But now all of a sudden, I was getting ready to call this fool John P. Key. Lord, now all of a sudden, Pastor McKnight is on a tour talking about how none of his original music meant anything to him.
Mhm.
He was just writing these songs because he needed to do a 2 and a 4. He knew he had 16 bars and he had to rhyme and he had to be able to do a run here. These songs didn't mean anything to him because he didn't have anyone significant in his life. Mm. But now these songs that he's writing, which are not as big hits, by the way, these hits are not as big as the originals. But now all of a sudden, these songs mean something because he got a new woman in his life, and they're actually, these songs are actually tethered to their new relationship. Yeah, if you could, Kwame, can you play that video for us? I just want the people to
Mm.
hear it in his words.
What is the song that like really still speaks to you? after all of these albums you've worked on?
Well, the ones that do, the only ones that speak to me are the ones that I've written since Leilani came into my life, because those are the only ones that have a meaning.
Wow.
Sure, there were big hits before then, but they weren't based on anything, because I never even liked anyone before I met her.
Oh, wow.
The first time I felt my heartbeat was the day that she came into my life. So everything that I wrote before then wasn't based on anything romantic. It was just, it was arithmetic. I have this many notes and this many syllables, and that's what I have to work with. But these 3 albums that I've done since we met, every single song it has a meaning. It has a story. It has
Oh, this right here is, I get it. When you are over somebody, you're over it. And you definitely want to affirm your new relationship, right? I want my new woman to know she doesn't have anything to worry about, or I want my new guy to know that they don't have anything to worry about as it relates to my ex. But if you have to do that to the detriment of something that did have value to your life, you may need to reevaluate what's going on here.
Somebody need to go check on him and make sure that he is not being abused. Sounds like he was under duress, giving those instructions, like he was on the other side of the camera staring at him. Okay, that's
You say you treat them as how you going, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Look, that was a mess.
So here's the thing, and I'm a big picture type person. So even when I get into it with people, now I'm not gonna say you won't catch me on a good day, and I may throw a little shade. I may, jab back. I normally don't take the first jab, but I may jab back. But Manal, I have learned that you cannot unsay something once you have said it.
Nope.
He cannot unrecord that video now. Excuse me.
And it's so bullshit.
Absolutely.
You telling me that you did not like any of these women that you was having sex with and having kids with? You did not like them? These were all one stands and accidental children?
Well, allegedly, he's on my side of the fence. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, I remember hearing all of that too. So maybe it's that. Maybe she lets you do what you need to do in the dark and she's a good cover for you. And that black woman said, absolutely no. But my point, sir, how are you going to erase your whole past and history that involves other individuals? Because that's the other thing that was going around was him, the reality that he does not take care of his first set of children. And that he is not a father to them and he does not have a relationship with them. And so it's not even just about the mothers, right? It's also about the kids. So you just are erasing your entire life.
Right. Legacy, everything. Right.
And that's and I like how you said, like, if you feel like you have to protect, the relationship that you're currently in, I understand people, get a little touchy, but if you are all grown in that relationship, then that person has a whole history. That person has grown to amplify that history before you. And so it is very damaging to your own person to not be able to be free about who you have been.
Absolutely.
Right? But then it's also damaging to everyone that's connected to that past version of you.
Right.
Especially when they're your kids and they're that connected to you and your story. There's no way I could not sit down with someone that I say I love in this present day and be like, now look, I didn't spread my legs open for such and such. Right. I really did have a good time. It was good while it lasted, and I moaned a little bit, and so did they, and like how do you not have those conversations and be open?
Right.
Right.
So my thing is, even if I don't go into detail, I'm the type of person, I don't have to know what's understood doesn't need to be explained, right? So I know you have an affinity, an affection on some level with these people, and I'm mature enough to understand that if you've had children with them, on some level, you're going to always have some type of connection with this person. If you've been married to this person, if you've been deeply connected, there's going to always be some type of connection. The only requirement that I would have is that connection cannot disrupt
Absolutely.
our connection. That's the only requirement
Absolutely.
that I would have in the whole situation. I feel like he's going overboard.
Yeah.
He doesn't like what his children did a few years ago. This is Walter giving his opinion. He doesn't like what his children did a few years ago. He doesn't like how they jumped in and had, everything to say bad about him, and he took that lashing in the media because he wasn't taking care of his grown kids. But the public was split on that, because I was like, you dealing with 30-year-old kids. They need to get out there. He paying their written stuff. So if he's paying their rent and for 2 years and they're not able to get up on their own 2 feet, okay. Taking care of your 30-year-old kid, you're absolutely fine with that. There were people out there such as me stating that. What I think what he's trying to do now is trying to counteract and combat some of that. Well, you guys thought you hurt me, but I'm doing so much better. He gonna get on there and say that his current daughter made him a girl dad. Finally made him a girl dad.
The bonus.
Nigga, you got a whole grown ass daughter. Don't say no bullshit like that. The fuck is wrong with you? First, fuck out of here with that bullshit. Then, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't care what happened between you and your child. I feel like the parent has the responsibility to be the more mature in the situation.
Now, I am coming from, I think we both are, in a sense. Our parents are adults, but they're not always the most mature.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, it's generational issues, right? So if you don't work your shit out, then it's gonna continue to keep going.
Period.
And so I feel like a lot of times when people don't know how to fix relationships, they get to the point of where they just want to minimize the relationship, or they want to create villains out of the individuals, right?
Right.
So, like, in this situation, how are you going to say that every song before this person meant absolutely nothing? So you sold all them albums on bullshit. You sold all of those nights away from your family on bullshit. I don't feel like that's accurate. And you can tell the truth, right? Instead of being petty and immature.
Right.
Tell the truth. Hey, those songs meant what they meant then. That's a better way to put that. Those songs meant what they meant to me then. Right. Now I'm in this mode. Now I have this energy flowing. Now I have this love in my life.
Absolutely.
It doesn't erase all of what was. It allows you to marry your whole person and experience. But if he's not ready to do that, I can't help you. You're too grown for that. I would say check in, go to therapy, do your thing. But it's sad. It's sad that he is on national media in this way, and is showing how to dismiss your whole life and experience.
Right. So, and I want to be very clear. If you don't like your ex, nobody is saying you and your ex have to be best friends. We're not saying that. But this is affecting so many other people that, it's a bit ridiculous. Now, Manal, we do have to take a commercial break. While we're taking the commercial break, I want you all, of course, to watch the commercials, but I want you to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you have found any value in tonight's show. Don't forget, you can also hit those cash apps, the WaltB Connection and Bay Windows, if you want to support Manal and myself. Go ahead and take us away, Kwame.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletandflightradio.com. Bullet and Flight Radio. Your story, our station.
Yes, I love that. That comeback music is the sugar honey iced tea. And during the commercial, I saw Tone, the artist formerly known as Tone. He's now B Slade. He has some new visuals out for his new project. It's gospel.
Oh,
yeah, it's gospel, but he's totally doing and embracing this androgynous look. I don't know the story behind it. I just know he has his nails painted, his head is bald, and he is looking really delicious. I have always thought Tone or B Slade, he's definitely, he's a good looker and a good singer. So yeah, go support that, definitely.
Lord Make Me Over. Lord Make Me Over is still one of the greatest worship songs ever.
So I do love Lord Make Me Over. My favorite song by him though is a song called Sexual.
Okay.
Go to YouTube and Google Sexual by B Slade. When I tell you his body, hallelujah, is on point in that video. His body, hallelujah, is on point in that video. And then just the message of the song. The tag is some people are straight, some people are gay. But baby, I'm just sexual. I'm just sexual. I love it. Some prefer the top, some prefer the bottom. But baby, me, I'm just sexual. I'm just sexual. I say, you know what? Go ahead and sing the truth and be fine. And sing that good. Yeah, we definitely can. I like
it. Check that out.
Right. Right. Yes. All right. So we're back here tonight and we're talking about just being done and not being shady. Letting go as an adult. When it comes time to let go, you really reveal your maturity level, Manal. Yeah. I feel like you show if you have really grown out of that immature mind stage. You know, when you try to take something from a kid and they're like, no, mine. And then when you finally get it from them, You know, they look around and they thrash the first thing they can come to, because they want to show you wouldn't have had to clean this up had you just let me keep what I had. And you know, sometimes adults, you know, they're not grown-ups, they're just big kids.
Absolutely.
They're kids at a more mature
Absolutely.
age. Right. And I feel like what we're discussing tonight is, you know, sometimes I have to hold, sometimes I want to go there with people. Sometimes, you know, the other day somebody said something and I just wanted to, back when I used to be a mess, my thing was I would cut you off mid-sentence with a quick bitch. Like, bitch, who you think you talking to? Like, let's just get right to the nitty and gritty. But as a mature adult, I realized sometimes I need to tell me to shut up. I need to check my emotions, and I need to hear what's being said, because the purpose is to get to an understanding, right? And a productive resolve, correct?
Absolutely. That's the way to go.
Right. And if everybody just bitch this and fuck you, and we're not going to get anywhere. We're absolutely not going to get anywhere. But I feel like as adults, you're tested at times. And the test is for you. It's not for God. God wants to see. It's not the Holy Ghost is proving to you. No, the test is so you can see where you need to grow. And so you can hold yourself accountable. You know, we talk about being accountable to other people, but the reason why we can't be accountable to nobody else is because we're not accountable to ourselves. Yeah. When is the last time you checked the fuck out yourself? Like, you nigga, that was not the zhuzh. That is not how that should have went down. You are absolutely being, you know, you were being disrespectful. I remember story time. I remember a relative called me over to their house. They called me and they were irate over the phone. They were like, get over here. He's tripping. He's this, he's that. So I'm coming ready to fight, right? Because my relative is in danger. So we get there and they get to talking about what's going on. His grandma just died. She talking about, fuck your grandma. Fuck yo, exactly. She talking up under his grandma's clothes, stuff I cannot repeat. And so I said to myself, I'm not getting involved in this. You need to realize so he didn't get violent with her, but he did eventually say some things to her that under normal circumstances, I would say that is completely uncalled for. That's just me and you got to talk. But under these circumstances, I'm like, I can't say that I wouldn't have said the same thing. If my grandma just died maybe a week or two ago, and you talking up under her clothes, and you know, talking about dig up and So a lot of times we like for other people to hold us accountable. But in that situation, I could not get my relative to see that they were wrong because they refuse to be accountable to themselves. Sometimes you have to check yourself and say, no, you were wrong in this situation. And next time you need to handle this a better way. Am I right about that, Mom?
Yeah. So like accountability is inner it's inner understanding. Mm-hmm. Responsibility is exterior understanding, right? So accountability is what I hold myself to. Okay. Responsibility is what everybody else holds me to, right? So like even just the little basic understanding of responsibility to others. Most people haven't gotten that down. That's why, you know, they just blow up everywhere all the time on anybody about anything. I didn't think none of this through. You just did something great for me, and then you pissed me off. So now I'm cussing you out because I completely forgot about what you did for me earlier today. And it's just, you know, that sort of childish behavior really being celebrated a lot of times. Yes. Whether it is in our own home, whether it's in our crews, it's on social media, it's on TV, right? That kind of explosive, erratic, that what is it that, you know, that there's that popping off. Like I was getting my hair done, Walter.
And it
And
looks lovely. I love it. I live.
appreciate it. My hairstylist, she's young, but she loves to set me up. She tries to keep me current. So she has me watching what is it, Bad Boys Club.
Oh,
so whenever I'm going to get my hair done, we watch Bad Boys Club because she just really likes to see me react. So one of the things that I'm watching, you know, coming into season 2, I'm seeing people that was fighting during the interview to get on the show that made it onto the show. I said, now, in normal situations, if you act like this, you're not getting the job. But clearly that's a requirement for this, right?
Right.
That crazy, that stupid, that immature, right? And so, again, just understanding that irrational behavior is something that is celebrated and it's very salacious, right? It sells, it gets people excited some sort of way, but it is also something that spreads. And so when you bring that kind of mentality to your everyday life and reality, that's how you end up with fines. That's how you end up locked up. That's how you end up with people that are trying to kill you. That's also how you end up with relationships that are not healthy. You burning your world down.
Facts. I love, oh girl, we probably need to do a whole show on reality TV because oh my God, they just play in my face so much. And I just that I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Yes, you're absolutely right, and I agree with everything that you just said. It's hard for me to get people to understand because sometimes over the years, people have come for me on the internet. They have come for me and they have been like, they have said some things that I should have responded for. But I've always told people, I heard some more say this. When Nene Leakes and Sheree get into it, is that her name? Yeah. When Nene Leakes and Sheree get into it, they get a paycheck, right? Nene Leakes is going to get signed up for a movie deal. She's going to become the next pop. They're going to be talking about her in the blogs for weeks because she slapped the shit out of Kim Zolciak or whoever the fuck she into it with. If I slap you at work, I'm going to get fired. I'm going, like you just said, I'm going to get fined. I'm going to lose things. So I think sometimes it warps our reality. So I have to spend a lot of time when I'm mentoring youth explaining to them, this is not high school anymore. You're not going to get on-campus suspension. You're not going to get suspended for 5 days and then resume life like nothing happened. You're going to jail. And depending on how bad it is, you now have to, everywhere you go, you know, you're going to have to bring this up over and over again. And it'll be something you have to live down that was completely unnecessary. Why? Because somebody said something you didn't like, right? Why? Because you felt disrespected. Now, I don't believe in disrespect. I don't. But I do believe that I can choose how I check the disrespect, right? And then there's some people, I don't check the disrespect because I just know how gutter and grimy you are. And I'm not going to be up here fighting because you have absolutely nothing to lose. Like, I have to go to work in the morning, so I can't be locked up overnight. You don't do shit but play the game all day. So, you know, your girl gonna come bail you out. You know, I'm all I got. You feel me? And if I was with somebody, I would want them to hold me accountable, not to be out here acting an ass. You know. Now, let me get off my soapbox. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm talking down to anybody, but that's just how I feel about that situation. Speaking of which, we went over the weekend. Something interesting happened. Now, all of this, what we're getting ready to talk about, is alleged. There is no video footage of either Chris Brown or Usher getting into a fight, but all of this is alleged. But over the weekend, allegedly, there was a fight between Chris Brown's posse and Usher. not Usher's posse, Usher.
Just Usher.
And it all stemmed from Chris Brown not being able to properly respond to Teyana Taylor ignoring him outside of his birthday party. Can you play the footage for us real quick, Kwame? Did I send that footage? I think I did.
Yo, we're here having a great time. See y'all soon.
Aww. You know, this picture really does it for me. I just want to put that out there real quick before we go any further. I think this is a beautiful picture, and
A little bromance.
I could so see them as a couple. Who do you think would be the bottom? Okay, all right. Immature, big immature. Oh.
I think Usher would be the bottom, though. But then again, I think they might be switch hitters because I feel like Chris Brown would need someone to dominate him, because usually it's the opposite, right? When people are like, rah, rah, out on the street, they're usually the ones that need to be whooped and tied and, calm down in the bedroom. Whereas Usher, he's a little humble out in the streets. He might be a straight up dom when they get to the I'm just saying.
Right. So the video we saw was Usher a day after the fight, after the encounter, the alleged encounter, right? Showing that his face was fine. I believe he was just letting people know, calm down, don't make this into something it doesn't have to be. And for that, I'll say big ups to you, Usher, because
they're probably gonna talk it out later anyway.
Yeah, but he could have really been petty with this and been like, you little immature, all you do is run around. He could have really, really served it up to Chris Brown, but he was being loyal to his boo. I feel like they're together. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. But he was being loyal to his friend, not his boo. I feel like they're friends. So allegedly what happened was, now this part has been confirmed. Usher threw Chris Brown a birthday party, okay? And Teyana Taylor showed up. Now, Teyana Taylor is bad. Do you hear
gorgeous.
Me?
And super talented.
So, right, uber talented. She's beautiful. She is definitely that. Ooh, y'all don't drink mango juice and Ciroc. It's causing me to belch. But anyway,
it's coming up fruity.
It's coming up fruity, but it tastes good going down, honey. And I ain't gonna lie, it ain't that bad coming back up. But so Lord, where was that? Oh, Teyana Taylor is that chick. She is beautiful, young, and I the times I have heard her, she's intelligent as well. Okay, so she's definitely that chick. She was outside of Chris Brown's birthday party. The other Chris, right?
The one who allegedly smacked, not the one who got smacked.
Right. Because these are two different Chris's.
Yes,
two different Chris's. Everybody hates Chris, but we talking about two different ones. Now, Chris allegedly was trying to talk to Teyana, and Teyana wasn't having it. She was allegedly ignoring her. People that were there were saying Teyana was like, she was just kind of like not feeling it. And to that, Chris Brown began to react, in my opinion, in an immature fashion. He began to yell and become aggressive. Usher stepped in to try to calm the situation down, allegedly, right? And then all of the anger that was directed at Teyana was now directed at Usher. And onlookers, people that were present, stated that Usher began to not Usher, Chris Brown began to cuss and fuss at Usher, and then he rounded up the posse and was like, "Let's go." And so they began to leave. Usher followed them to try to get them to stay, and then that's when they broke Usher off something pugilistic. Can I just go on record by saying that is immature and that is not how you should have handled that?
I just don't, but I don't buy it.
You don't buy it? Ooh,
I don't buy it. See, because here's the thing. One, it's a birthday party. It's a birthday party with all of these individuals. You know what they was doing?
What was
Drinking and smoking. You know what they were doing?
What?
Being sober and level-headed. So I can imagine that by 2-3 o'clock in the morning, the birthday boy, Chris Breezy, is drunk off his ass. And I could imagine that Tiana Taylor, even though she was probably drinking, was a little buzzed, but she is who she is. She's a lady. She's in a committed relationship.
Okay.
She came to have a good time. Who's dealing with some drunk asshole?
Right.
Even if it's Chris Breezy, right? I'm not talking to you while you in this state. I'll talk to you while you sober, sir.
Right.
Wouldn't have talked to him too much either. Get your boy. That's how that would have gone, right? Y'all get your boy. We don't engage in situations like that. Women don't do that. So I could see whether Chris Brown was trying to hit on her or talk business. She was not trying to deal with him because he probably most likely was not sober.
Right.
So I can also see how Usher, understanding him being older, more mature, right? Being very clear, like, hey, he drunk, come on, get over here. She ain't trying to deal with you. So I could see how he would then jump in and try to, rectify that situation. I don't see the logic in Chris Brown and his crew jumping Usher. Okay. It don't even matter how upset he would get. They have too much of a history. And even if it did get to that level of aggression, I don't see Usher engaging because I feel like Usher's been around way too long in the industry and with Chris Brown specifically to involve himself that deep. I don't see it going down like that. I think people doing too much.
So in my imagination, Chris Brown was trying to holler at Tiana Taylor. It's my imagination, y'all. Chris Brown was trying to holler at Tiana Taylor. Usher saw and got jealous and was like, wait a minute, nigga, who is she?
I can't.
Who the fuck is she? And why are you talking to her like that? And Chris was like, listen, I told you I like both. I like both. And he was like, after I threw you all of this party, you gonna get... And Chris Brown was like, I don't need the second party. Round up the posse. Let's go. And Tiana Taylor was like, calm down. I won't tell nobody that y'all together. Calm down. And Chris Brown was like, see, that's why I don't fuck with you. And then Usher was like, no, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Because, Usher can sing. And then that's why they jumped him, because Usher was getting ready to expose the tea. And so but that's how it went down in my mind. No, I'm so joking. I don't think either of these men play for my team. I do, however, I just wish Chris Brown, sometimes you have to realize, so sometimes people see you in a certain light and you just keep giving them ammunition to see you that way. Somebody needs to sit this young man down and say, hey, for about 5 years, don't whoop no ass and don't get your ass whooped.
Don't you do shit. Don't you get into nothing. You better find some charities and give, okay?
Right.
Volunteer, all right? Do some free concerts, my brother.
Yes.
Apology tour. Like he needs rebranding. He needs therapy. He needs his circle to turn around, but how old is he? Ain't he like 28? How old is Chris Brown?
I don't know. That baby is 28.
Let's Google real quick. How old is Chris Brown? He a kid.
Hey Siri. How old is Chris Brown?
You better talk to Siri.
You don't have Bishop Chris Brown's birth year listed in your
contacts.
Oh
Lord, they're talking about I know a Bishop Chris Brown. And Siri trying to tell me how old Bishop Chris Brown is.
She wasn't ready. Oh, he's 34.
Yeah,
First
no,
of
he
all,
grown.
34. 34. Grew up in the industry. That's a little different. He got some
Okay.
little privilege on his little back, right? And then he's had a really, really rough time in the industry because
Right.
he had that. He hasn't had that personal development, and so 34 to him is still 21. You still getting 21 behavior. You
Okay.
know, he need a minute, and he's no disrespect, but he's a man. You know, it take y'all a minute. He
It
probably gonna
do.
have since he about 46.
It does. It does. It does. I do generally, not it's not a rule of thumb, but generally, I think women do mature faster than guys. I
Oh,
absolutely do.
we have to.
Yeah.
Because y'all just get to play and gallivant and just be wild, and we gotta be
And
right
sowing our
and on
royal
point
oats.
and ladylike.
And sowing our royal oats.
Right.
Now, I will say this, that don't apply to all women because I'll be looking, I'll be like, girl, where was your mama?
I mean, definitely not today. Definitely that is something that is changing. That whole idea.
Right. Well, today we were talking about being done with a situation and not being petty. Manal, I think this is really a conversation of how to handle something a mature way versus an immature way. If you could, for about a minute, just tell us what are some things we should take into account before we respond to something we want to be very petty about.
Man, I mean, it's like, what do we teach our kids? Well, what do we teach our kids? You treat others the way you want to be treated. That's
Period.
number one. I asked this little boy today. I was with one of my students, and it was hot today, and I didn't put on deodorant. And I was like, "Look, my brother, I didn't wear deodorant today. I didn't expect it to be this humid in St. Louis today. It was supposed to rain. So if I smell, will you still be my friend?" And he said, "No." I
Ooh.
said, "Well, would you want me to still be your friend if you stank?" And he said, "Yes, you can still be my friend today." So it's just like that understanding. If I'm not in the best situation, why would you kick me when I'm already down? If you have a problem with me, why would you come for my life? Would you want someone to treat you that way? And so it's just taking that step back. Like, how would I want to be handled if I was on the other end of all of this? No matter what that person felt I deserved, how would I want to be treated? And so when you can have that level of empathy moving through life, it'll alter the way that you handle a lot of situations. And then the other part of that is when you are pissed off, there's nothing wrong with being pissed off.
Right.
But try to talk to at least 2 to 3 people who can give you varying ideas on how to see the picture. Because you're going to have your one friend that's going to tell you, go ahead and pop off. And then you have another one that's going to say, now, wait a minute, think about it, because you're building something. So you might not want to throw it all away. And then you're going to have another one that says, now, you know you are a fucked up individual and you are hard to deal with. So you need to think about yourself. So you're going to have those varying ideas.
Absolutely.
So talk to different people about it. Then the other thing is if you are still pissed off in 3 days, go ahead and address it. But if it has died in 3 days, then it probably wasn't that big of a deal. Give yourself time and space between whatever pissed you off. Think about it and then address it later.
I like all of those points. I definitely do. You can definitely tune in to the WaltB Connection. We will be back next week. You can follow Manal on all social media platforms. You can follow myself, the WaltB Connection, on all social media platforms. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, keep hope alive. Go ahead and take us away, Kwame.